Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome or welcome back. I wanted to share an update on Big Brother 24, BB24. So if you're interested, keep listening. Alright BB fam, I wanted to share an update and a recap of a few moments since the last eviction. I think I have a rant in here somewhere, but I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to do that. But we'll see as I go further and further into this. All right. So I have lots of mixed emotions because on one hand, and I've expressed this before, I don't like this cast except for Taylor. It started from week one and the vile things we saw happening on the feeds to Taylor. My memory is long and I haven't forgotten. Now, on the other hand, as a BB fan, the unpredictability over the past week in this messy twist, it was entertaining to say the least. Yeah. And this messy twist really shifted the entire game. This past eviction, we saw that both Jasmine and Joseph were voted out. I found it interesting that Jasmine walked out of the house and her limp was magically gone. She admitted in the DR that she was faking it as part of her gameplay. Whatever, Jasmine. And then we saw Joseph. We saw him fight to the bitter end and watched as his game came to an end. And really at the hands of Kyle and Turner, even though while Terrence was the HOH, he certainly was manipulated by Kyle and Turner. And don't forget Michael. It's alleged that before they divided the house into the two groups, Michael told Terrence to target Joseph. Right. And I guess that's true because that's what we witnessed happen, right? So Jasmine and Joseph are jury members number 2 and 3. And it also is an end to this tired Brochella and Dire Fest twist. It's evident that the twist was meant to break up a dominant alliance, and it was successful because the leftovers are now done. But now another dominant alliance is formed, right? So was the twist done because production didn't like the dominant alliance that was formed, or it wasn't in favor of their faves, maybe? And do they like this new dominating alliance? I wonder. All right, so after the eviction, when the feeds returned, and this is a spoiler alert, we learned that Turner won the HOH. His original targets were going to be Alyssa and Terrence, but with manipulation from Kyle, the targets shifted to Michael. Turner put up Brittany and Taylor. He put them on the block with the hopes of backdooring Michael. Since the nominations, we've seen Brittany crying and spiraling. She's very upset. Taylor, on the other hand, has had a different reaction as she's going around the house trying to understand what Joseph said before he exited the game. She's really trying to figure out what happened outside and how it ended with Joseph going out. She's confused by the things that she's hearing. She really had a genuine relationship with Joseph. And she's really impacted by him leaving the game. And we can see that because she's trying to ask questions and trying to understand what's going on. The outdoor folks, the Dire Fest house guests, they have all agreed to all lie and blame Joseph. And it appears that it's working. It's causing confusion, but in the beginning, it appeared that it's working. I don't think Taylor believes a lot of it. And I definitely think Michael sees right through all of it. I think Taylor knows that she needs to win the veto to save herself. And what's unfortunate, she's still maneuvering in the game as if she has true allies and true relationships in the house. But unfortunately, she really doesn't. And we know that as viewers, right? We see that this is all fake, but not on her part. I think she's genuine in trying to establish relationships and build allies and trying to work within a team. But the rest of them, They are not genuine. It's all fake, right? And it's clear more than ever that the members of the Leftovers had never had the sincerity behind why that alliance was formed. I knew it all along. I've said it multiple times in my updates. I've always felt it was just production tipping them off or doing something to say, hey, you guys, the way you're treating Taylor, it's not looking good. The fans don't like it. Something to that effect. I am of the belief that production tried or had tipped them off. And then the next thing you know, we see this Leftovers alliance formed, and these people are trying to save Taylor and stand up for what's right and all this other stuff. There was a lot of lip service and not tolerating bullying and how unfair it was for her. And you guys know the history, right? We all saw it, and they aired it on the episode, right? So it was something they were all standing up for behind Taylor, right? But it was all fake. It was all performative. I knew it from the start. And we see that more and more now, right? Most of them resent having to have joined the Leftovers. That's what it sounds like. At least that's what Turner said, right? He's like, it was on my HOH and I felt like I just had to do it, right? Yeah, but Turner, didn't he give that big old speech like, I'm the youngest in the house and I won't tolerate bullying? It was all bull. Performative. All of them. Right? But it's okay because they are allowed to play whatever game they'd like to play. And I'll say it again. Personally, I feel that Taylor should just get off this show. I had hoped that she was voted out week 1 like they all wanted, just to minimize her trauma. This girl is really nice. I think when she gets out of this house, I'm so happy because I see her mom tweeting and some of her friends. I think she has a strong network of friends. And a tribe that's going to support her, plus the love of the fans, right? So I'm hoping she'll get a lot of heal quickly when she gets out of this house. But the trauma this girl has experienced and continue to experience, and now it's like it's happening all over again. It's just, oh man, it's pissing me off. And this has nothing to do with whether or not Taylor is playing well or she's my fave or what have you. I personally want her voted out. I want her to get out of the house just to, well, now we're so so far beyond like how much trauma she's experienced. I personally wish she was voted out week 1 so it would be minimized, right? Just that first week. But now it's been 8 weeks. And this is, I hate what I'm seeing. I just do. I don't like this cast with the exception of Taylor. I'm going to keep saying it until this season ends. All right. When I saw that conversation with her and Terrence, that's my rant. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Let me just try to stay on track. Go through my notes. One other thing I wanted to point out that it's even after all of the hits Taylor has taken in this game, she has been the most consistent in terms of her behavior in the game. She has remained even keel. So when they talk about, she's going to blow up or she's going to yell, like all these microaggressions, she has shown none of that. And she has remained even keel the entire time. And it's so funny because when you see the other house guests, when their backs are against the wall or they're under pressure, look at how they break down. Michael's threatening to out Kyle about his white alliance, right? Because he feels threatened or he feels that his game is in danger. Brittany's throwing Taylor under the bus because she was put on the block. Alyssa, it's just all of them. Look at Kyle is breaking down, outing his own alliance when he felt like he was threatened. All of them have shown that when they are under pressure, that true person comes out and they're just not likable people. It's unbelievable. It's so funny. And yet when Taylor is under pressure and being beaten up in the game, or people are saying she plays poorly or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever she's done in the game, she has remained the same, consistent behavior. And this shows that this is who she is as a person, right? Anyway, And can we all agree that the formation of the Leftovers, no matter where you stand on The Leftovers, or if you are a Kyle fan or Taylor fan, or anyway, can we just all agree that the formation of The Leftovers was all performative? I mean, can we agree on that? That they resent being a part of the being a part of The Leftovers. It is so crazy to me. Anyway, I hope Taylor is going to be voted out. I think we may get that. I'm not 100% sure, because things change every 5 minutes. But just for the sake of this woman having or reducing her trauma, right? It would have been minimized had she been voted out week 1. Now we're in week 8. When she gets out of that house, she's going to see. I'm so happy that I saw, was it a family member, her mom or her friend? But someone made a comment like, I hope that Taylor's tribe or her family and stuff don't allow Terrence to be like in her face, or Daniel or anything. And she was like, trust and believe, we're going to keep these people away from her. And thank God, because they don't deserve her friendship, and she just needs to, she should have that. Like, if they want to apologize, sure, give a public apology. They want to send a private apology through her people, great. But after that, I just hope she does not pursue any relationships with any of the people, any of them, and that includes Joseph, none of them. All right, let me calm down. All right, I was never on the Jailer train, by the way. I don't even find them as a good match, to be honest. And Jailer is Joseph and Taylor, right? A lot of people wanted to see them together. They are incredibly good-looking people, young people, right? They have a head on their shoulders. But my memory, like I said, my memory is long. Joseph was foul in that first couple of weeks, and he was a contributor to the Taylor hate train. He did make up for it and tried to change that. I didn't like the strategic move he made by trying to keep Taylor as a target. But when I heard her speaking with Alyssa, in terms of them having this faux romance, part of the reasoning was the more and more that people thought they were a showmance, meaning Taylor and Joseph, the more the kinder people were to Taylor. So he was just trying to help her stay comfortable in the house. And I get that, but I still don't think she needs to have any relationships with any of these people. All right, before I get into a few observations, another spoiler alert, the players were picked for the veto, and everyone was picked except for Terrence and Kyle. It looks like Terrence was the host. It also sounded like the competition was the sliding back and forth, filling that container, Anyway, Michael won the power of veto. And of course, now Brittany is elated. She's calmed down because Michael will use the veto on her. And it's very interesting how this is going to play out, because prior to them being picked for the veto, Michael implied to Taylor, he brought her in the room, or they went in the room, but he implied to her that he would use the veto on her, right? Because it was part of this, well, since the house is divided and we need competitors, kind of implying that Brittany is no competitor. She can't win stuff. And Taylor can, right? So he's like, we need competitors moving forward. And he's like, if you know what I'm saying, right, without saying it. And she's like, I understand. And then Taylor said, hey, have you had this conversation with her? He's like, I don't want to get in her head. I'll deal with it after the fact. I personally think he was just doing this, and this was a ploy just to get Taylor to pick him to play in the veto if she were to get house guest choice. Because I think Michael will use that veto on Brittany. And I just don't believe he will use the veto on Taylor. I could be wrong, right? About all of this. I say that all the time. Michael has also talked to America, and I brought this up a little bit earlier, and I don't want to get too far into this. I'm already over 15 minutes, but he brought up to America that he plans to pull down Kyle with him. I'm not giving him any kudos in terms of him calling out Kyle, because he held on to this information. And what I'm referring to is when Kyle tried to recruit Michael and Brittany to get into his alliance, and it was this all-white alliance, and the optics of it, they tried to talk to Kyle and say the optics of this doesn't look right, and And he held on to that. He didn't tell Taylor or Monty or Terrence or anyone, but he held on to that. And now he's weaponizing that information, right? He's like, well, if I go down, I'm pulling you down with me. And I just thought, how convenient is this, Michael? Like, you're trying to call out racial bias and you just think that's just unjust. That's not why you're upset. You're upset because your game is threatened. And so now you have something to use. Like, Michael can miss me with this. All right. And for those of you that say, I don't understand, well, Kyle, what is he, the 2.0? I don't get it. Well, you're just going to be ignorant, because let's just say, if this weren't a big deal, then why is Michael planning to use it as a weapon? How come he's trying to weaponize it now? Right? All right, a few observations in the game. Monty bashing Taylor. I shifted my thoughts on Monty last week with his sincere apologies to Taylor. He damn near followed the girl around all last week. Now he's back to what's so easy for all of them to do in this game, and that is to bash Taylor. I don't get his gameplay. I don't understand it. This was similar to Joseph. I just don't understand how they are using strategy, or their strategy in using Taylor as the target. This throwing off the scent and keeping Taylor as the target and speaking negatively about her. I just never bought into that being good strategy. I don't like it. And I don't understand Monty's game. He can go to, all of them can go. I don't like any of this cast except Taylor. Alyssa taking her power back, right? Starting when she was speaking to Joseph outside. Remember that? She's like, she felt so powerful, y'all, right? She was like, I'm speaking. Had the hands up and all this. She was like, you listen, I'm speaking. In that moment, she used her voice and she felt good. I can't wait to see her strategy moving forward. All right, now getting to Terrence and Taylor. I saw this on at 8:46 p.m. on cameras 3 and 4. I watched it 3 times just to make sure I was hearing what I was hearing. And I watched it 3 times just to make sure my strong feelings about Terrence were fair, I should say, right? When Terrence was outside, and he was part of the Dyer Fest, right? He's the HOH. And when he was talking with Joseph, right? Because Joseph was trying his hardest to stay in the game. Terrence told Joseph, well, actually, Joseph asked for everybody to be around. So it was in front of everyone. He said, showmances don't vote the same. And this is him using this excuse for why he's chosen Kyle and Alyssa over Monty and Joseph, right? First of all, Terrence, that sounds dumb. And there's just no way around it, right? For the record, showmances do vote together. And you better believe that in Kyle and Alyssa's case, this nomance that they're having, she'll vote the way he tells her to. And that's just it. But for him to just say showmances don't vote the same, it sounds dumb. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about is how Terrence is equally as problematic, if not more than the rest of them, as much as the rest of them, I should say. And not only because his entire gameplay is based on desperation, in my opinion, he projects this negative, self-hating, insecure characteristics. And now he's projecting those onto Taylor in this conversation that I saw on the feeds at 8:46 p.m. on cameras 3 and 4, by the way. He had the audacity to fix his lips to try to explain to Taylor of how we, meaning black people, lose our way because of the influence of non-black people getting into our ear when they don't have our best interests at heart. This was the sentiment of what he was telling Taylor, or trying to lecture Taylor about. And what he was saying to Taylor, this completely caught me off guard. First of all, as a black person, as a black woman, this infuriated me. And this is just another example of why I don't like Terrence. Number one, Taylor has not displayed any behavior that has embarrassed black people. And let's be very clear, we can't say the same about Terrence. I don't even want to repeat his vile opinions he's expressed about Taylor. You can listen to my last updates when I was pissed off when I started to hear him say things. Is she playing the best game socially? Maybe not. Is her strategy a little off because she can't find her footing in this game? Sure. But in terms of an embarrassment, no. And let's be very clear, we can't say the same about Terrence. Okay? Number 2, Taylor has fought an uphill battle since day one. And all she did was walk into the house. She was confident. She looked good. She has success in her life. And she has unique experiences with her pageantry and other things that she has done in her life, right? And I believe many women in that house, well, most of the women in that house, including some of the men, some of the men, all were intimidated by her from just walking into the house, right? They were all insecure, and yes, including Terrence. I find it fascinating that all of the other house guests can be confident about their success and their experiences outside of the Big Brother house. And yet if she tries to join in the conversation or just, be sarcastic or just trying to be a part of the team, or part of the group, right? All of a sudden now she's arrogant or she's the B word and all this other stuff. And this all stems from Paloma. And yes, I'm bringing up Paloma again because it started with her. She was the pot stirrer, right? She stirred the pot. And this will forever be what she brought to the game, what Paloma brought to the game and what she'll be known for, a pot stirrer. And a bully, right? And this will always follow her around in the game of Big Brother, right? And the rest of them just followed, right? They were all led by Paloma. They probably would have preferred for Taylor to walk into the house, dim her light so they can feel all special and feel all, smart. And they just wanted so badly for her to be reliant on them, right? That's what it's about. And this is where the leftovers come in. Because number 3, this is how I see the leftovers. A bunch of folks with this savior complex, these fake social justice warriors, and how they all are now saying, Taylor should be grateful that she's with us. We saved her in the game. She's lucky. She's only here because if it were not for us, she wouldn't even be here. Right? It kind of contradicts the whole purpose of the leftovers. But this is what we're seeing these people say, right? And Turner, in his case, he's resentful for being in the leftovers, right? He's like, well, I just felt I had to go along with it because it was on my HOH. Share with us, Turner was sharing his real feelings, right? And all of them felt that way. I just felt like they were tipped off by production that what they're doing didn't look right. And this was their response. But it was never sincere. It was just this fake stuff. But going back to Terrence, number 4, in his poor execution and attempt at lecturing Taylor about black people being unified, he also says something about when are we going to, as he said, F with each other, right? Well, I saw absolutely no attempt of Terrence trying to build community with Taylor in this house at all. But you know what I did see? I saw a disregard from Terrence when it came to protecting a black woman. I saw Terrence talk down and about a black woman, Taylor, all to try to belong in a space on this show that has shown to have little to no space for a Taylor or for a Terrence for that matter, right? And this was the whole reason why the cookout was formed in BB23. And for those of you that still don't understand it, then you are just going to remain ignorant. When he is telling Taylor, he meaning Terrence, how we as black people are always willing to take their word over our own. This is exactly what he did when it came to Taylor. Am I crazy here? I saw Terrence make sexist and derogatory remarks about Taylor. And why did he do this? Just to try to fit in with the rest of them as they were doing it? To try to prolong his game? Like, I don't understand Terrence. It infuriated me watching him trying to lecture to her. And it's just going to be pretty interesting how they cut Terrence so fast after Kyle and Turner, I'm talking about, when they get what they want out of this game. You watch how fast they cut him. There was no attempt to, as he says, F with her, right? As he so eloquently put it. And be clear, because I don't want any nonsense in my comments, I'm so pissed about this. I will block you if you come at me crazy. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not talking about Terrence having to align with Taylor. He doesn't have to do that in this game. He doesn't even have to align with anyone he doesn't want to in this game. That's his right as a player. What I'm referring to is him lecturing Taylor on why black people can't be unified and the responsibility she had to be insightful when taking the word over someone over him. And the hypocrisy is just, it choked me. It's just like, what are you talking about, Terrence? How about, Terrence, you have a responsibility as well as Monty have the same responsibility to squash that conversation around you when you hear these folks cutting down Taylor like you have been hearing. Don't participate in it, right? Cut that shit, like keep them from doing that. Squash it right then and there. You can critique her game. You can critique her poor social game. You can critique her strategy. But when you hear people calling her out of her name and it's the personal attacks, that extends beyond game, and they have a responsibility to say something. I mean, he is so quick to tell Taylor what she's doing right and doing wrong and trying to lecture this young woman. Terrence is a hypocrite. He's projecting all of this bullshit, and I just can't stand him. He cracks me up. I can't stand it. He's trying to sound so wise and putting Taylor up on game. And this man has shown nothing but disrespect towards Taylor in this game. Behind her back, in her face, he's made sexist and disparaging remarks, talking about the P word, a hole on a stroll, like all this. I can't stand Terrence. And then when he was talking about code, oh my God. One aspect of staying on code, sir, is to stop participating in the foolery, especially when it came to Taylor. I swear this man makes my head hurt. When it comes to Terrence and his feelings about Taylor, I'm like, why are you so mad, Terrence? Why are you so mad? Are you mad? I mean, would you feel better if she were to walk in the house subservient? You know, would you have felt better if she walked in dimming her light? Right? Would you prefer that she just shrinks as a person more than she's having to do so now because of these bullies in the house? Just so everyone else can feel comfortable, right? Why are you so mad, Terrence? It's just, there's no community there. It's just, and he has the audacity to try to say like, she's doing something wrong. It just, and then when he was making that comment to Jasmine, talking about she's a different type of sister, I can't. Black people, first of all, we are not a monolith, right? There's all types of black people. Taylor is a good representation of a black person. And Terrence, the way he's talking, he's just so ignorant. I can't stand Terrence. He's weak in this game. He's a weak player. He's disgusting to me. I just can't stand it. He's raised my blood pressure. Terrence can go kick rocks. And when he leaves this house, I guarantee the community of which he speaks of when lecturing to Taylor, oh, you best to believe they will have words for you, sir. And I'll continue to say this until I'm blue in the face. But just like the rest of the cast, he owes her a public apology. And quite frankly, Terrence, you owe us an apology. And work on your self-hatred. It's alarmingly blinding. And it's just not a good look. And by the way, Terrence, if you were casted on Big Brother 23, you would have never been in the cookout. Never. If Terrence was on BB23, we would have never seen a cookout alliance. The cookout alliance. We would have never seen it. Nope. I believe that with every ounce of my being. There would have not been the Cookout Alliance if Terrence was on BB23. And I said it. Him talking about Taylor's a different type of sister. What does that mean? I can't. He has some nerve and he needs to get a grip. All right, so let me summarize. I feel like my blood pressure has gone up with Terrence's foolery. It just made me so upset when I seen him trying to lecture her. And she's just like, she tries so hard to like understand people, right? She listens to people for understanding, and she's a very nice person. I don't think like, I just want her out of this house. I want her back with her family, her tribe, just so they can help her heal through all this trauma and she can just move on with her life, because she's going to have a lot of success. She's going to have brand opportunities, jobs. I don't think this will be the last we see of her after Big Brother. So I'm just looking forward for that to be fast forwarded. And she still has my vote for America's favorite player. All right, so let me summarize. I've had it with Terrence. I'm gonna have to go watch my Hallmark movie so I can reset. I do Hallmark reviews, Hallmark movie reviews as well. So if you happen to like Hallmark movies, you can find that on my channel too. All right. I have such a love-hate relationship with Big Brother. So in summary, Turner is the HOH. He nominated Brittany and Taylor. The target is Michael, right? But after the veto, Michael won the veto. So it's going to be interesting to see who he uses the veto on, Brittany or Taylor. And then once one of them are pulled off of the block, who is going to go up? I suspect it's going to be Monty. Turner is kind of saying it might be Alyssa. I don't believe anything Turner says. I don't believe any of them, to be honest, right? But it's going to be interesting to see who will replace either Brittany or Taylor on the block. So we have to see that. I don't think we'll find that out until Monday afternoon, right? All right. Oh, I also wanted to say that Alyssa now feels like she's playing the game, right? It's so funny because she really reminds me of Alyssa from BB23. Like Alyssa from BB23, oh, she sweared she was playing the game and in the know the whole time. And she's still angry about the whole about her betrayal from Xavier and the whole cookout. You could tell she's still angry about that. But the only comparison I'm making between the two Alyssas is that now Alyssa from BB24, I should say, she's now playing the game, so excited that she knows what's going on. She's like grilling Brittany to find out information. Like she is on a high right now, and good for her, right? But what I wanted to say about Alyssa from BB24, I don't like slut shaming, right? Alyssa is a grown woman. I'm not a fan of her at all. So let me just say that. But she's grown and she's a consenting adult. I don't think that her nomance with Kyle will necessarily give her a BB legend status. But let's not shame the woman because she chose to sleep with Kyle on a floaty in the have-not room. All right, please. It's her right, it's her body, it's her choice. So let's stop with the slut shaming. All right. Going back to Kyle and Turner for just a minute. They also feel very, very powerful in the game, or at least before the veto, right? They were on the high. They had the game all planned out for the rest of the season. So I'm interested to see how that works out for them. Right. I do question how well they are doing in terms of jury management. I don't think they have thought about this. I haven't seen any conversations about it. And I wonder when they're going to start thinking about that. Right. Because quite frankly, in order for either of them to win the game, they have to be sitting next to each other. They will not win sitting next to anyone else. Guarantee. All right. You guys, I have such a love-hate relationship with Big Brother. It kind of happens almost every year. This year specifically because I don't like this cast except Taylor. I'm puzzled how much of a chokehold the live feeds have on me. I just sometimes I need to turn it off and then I'm like, oh my God. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow. So thank you in advance. My name is Danielle. You're listening to Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.